Sports presents
SIZZLE, what's going on, baby? How you feeling, man?
I am feeling scrumtastic, scrum delicious, and caramel latte great.
That sounds like one of those flavors at Baskin Robbins. You got to ask the guy behind the counter, like, look, man, you got some of that stuff he just said, because I know y'all got the hookup going on back there.
Oh, yeah. You get that caramel latte light with the cream and then put a little whip top on top, and then you just sprinkle it on you and just be like, sprinkle me, sprinkle me. That's what I do. Sprinkle me.
I'm not going over there with you.
All right, let's get ready to start the show.
You're listening to The Sizzle, the talk of the 219, the hottest sports talk in the region, on Iron Skillet Radio and Iron Skillet Television.
You know what it is. You know who it is. It's The Sizzle here on Iron Skillet Radio, Iron Skillet Television. We are the hottest talk in the 219. We are the hottest talk anywhere. You know who's in the building. I'm G Sizzle. He's J Sizzle.
Yes, sir.
And we're here to get you ready to understand that there's a lot going on in football, man. But we got to talk about it. Man, is Chad Henny going to the Bears?
Really, do you want a 14-year backup with the Bears?
Look, man, anything that has Henny in it, I might want it at this point. But let's talk about what's really going on. Let's jump into what happened in the football world today. You know, there was a lot going on. There are a lot of divisional things going on. We are getting ready for the NFC and the AFC playoffs. And let's talk about the old GOAT reunion show. That's right, the old GOAT reunion show. Put two old quarterbacks together, and one ain't gonna make it out alive. It was a fight to the death. It was a battle to the end. It was a slapping and the rapping. Yeah, it was something like that. Two of the greats went against each other, and they were GOATs. But now it's just like the old Billy Goat. And one just said, nah, no more. One threw 3 picks and said, yeah, don't want it anymore. Don't want it anymore. So you had Drew Brees and his Saints that fell 20-30 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And luscious Tom Brady with the hair, he said to you, take that and be gone and be on your way, Drew and your Breezy, and take your family with you. And we'll close the dome down.
You know, it was one of these games. You knew there wasn't. You was hoping for some form of an offensive explosion, but it literally looked like Drew Brees could not throw the ball past 30 yards. I mean, it literally looked like I cannot throw the ball any further. It looked like that his shoulder was bothering him again. He was just trying to fight his way through. You know, he had like 14 cracked ribs or something like that just a month ago. He probably should have been out there playing as it was. But, you know, it's amazing what a little heart and some needles can do. So, you know, he's out there playing. But it looked like he really couldn't put anything on the ball like he wanted to. And he was getting picked, making some bad throws. And it just looked like two old quarterbacks trying not to make mistakes. And one of them just did a better job than that. And these defenses just stepped up and played really well. It was a defense type of game that you were waiting for either one of these running backs to get going, Alvin Kamara to get going. You were waiting for Fournette to get going, even though they did as the group. The Tampa Bay running back, I think, went for almost 170 yards on the ground. So you saw a team that played the way they wanted to play, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you just saw Drew Brees trying to force the ball in the places where it shouldn't have went. And literally that's what lost in the football game.
Yeah, you have 3 picks. That'll down anybody, any team. Alvin Kamara came in and did his part. The strangest thing and the saddest thing is Michael Thomas, for the first time in his career, went catchless. It was an offer. It was sad. It was really sad. And shout out to Cam Jordan, man. One of the most underrated defensive players in the NFL.
Yeah.
One of the best that does it. He was running and gunning and slapping and shacking all the time. He was putting TB12 in a bad situation. But as you said, it was the Grandpa Bowl, and somebody had to go down. It was Grandpa's in a bowl, the Grandpa Bowl, because they were in the Superdome. So it's like a bowl, and it was two grandpas. Get it? See, it was
I think what really turned that game around early for Tampa Bay was when it was 4th and 1. Earlier in the right toward with about 3 minutes left in the first quarter, and they decided to go for it and they extended that drive. I don't think if they wouldn't have extended that drive, I think you would have saw that Tampa Bay defense have to come back out because Drew Brees did look like he was going to get it rolling a little bit, and I think that helped out a lot with Tampa Bay by them pushing that ball and getting that 10-play drive in. So I think it was just vintage Tom Brady. He played just like how he plays up in New England. It was just a war of attrition. We're just going to outlast your guys. And basically that's what happened. You see Tom not make a lot of mistakes, even though he did throw one ball that should have been picked. But for the most part, he kept everything out of harm's way. He did what Tom Terrific does. Who knew Devin White was that guy? I mean, just all over the field. I mean, just looked like he was a man possessed, running around with a baseball bat at a carnival. You know, he was just whacking everybody he could. And the defense played real well. The secondary played well for Tampa Bay. Definitely shutting out Michael Thomas. I mean, I was surprised about that. He's out there. But I think, again, that's Drew Brees' arm. I don't think Drew Brees could air it out. And I think Tampa Bay knew it. You know, that's why you saw what, you know.
I don't think he's thrown. Has he thrown a ball over 30 yards this season?
No, I don't think so. And I think that's what they said when they brought in Jameis Winston and just talked about that to throw the long ball. And then he also didn't have his main go-to backup quarterback. That's why he brought Jameis in there to throw the long ball. I don't think Drew Brees just has it in that shoulder. I think he's a shell of himself, literally. A guy who's on his last hurrah and was just trying to will himself into the play deep into the playoffs, and you just saw a guy who just couldn't do it anymore. You know, you saw, you know, literally that's what you saw. I mean, maybe he played one season too long because Tom Brady looked a lot better than he did throwing the football, and Tom Brady made some nice long throws that put the ball on the money. A couple of them were dropped in the end zone. But Tom Brady looked very good. That TB12 routine looked really good, and Drew Brees, like I said, just looked like a guy who was trying to will his body to do something that he couldn't do. So it was sort of sad to see Drew Brees go out like that, where you just sort of had an idea that he didn't really have a real chance in this ball game because he couldn't push the ball downfield. And he also looked at Tom Brady, who had been outscored by Drew Brees this last season by 46 points, and who was really motivated to get back on him, and that's what he got.
Yeah, well, salute to the Boilermaker, and peaceful journeys to you on your retirement. If this was your last NFL game, it was memorable, and I thought that the Saints were going to pull it out. I really thought from the beginning of the game, when they had just a 6-point lead, I thought they were going to have a war of attrition defensively.
Yeah, and they need to punch the ball in. They couldn't punch the ball in against Tampa Bay. And then once I saw they came away both times with just field goals, I'm like, that ain't gonna get it done because Tom Brady's gonna figure it out how to get it to the end zone. Even though all his scores were off turnovers, still he was gonna figure it out in the short field how to get the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, so shout out to Drew Brees and his family, and to Purdue and to the Rosig bros there. Just shout out to you, man. A career that was well put together, and someone who said 5 years ago he felt like he was ready to retire.
Yeah.
But just kept trucking out there, kept giving him his all, and you see the results. Sometimes you just get to the end of your road, and I think with Drew Brees, each year, each injury, each time he had to take a time out and set out and really get himself back together physically, it took a toll on him, and he wasn't able to really pull that magic out. And this time, maybe he was at the end of his road. Now, I'm not saying that Tom Brady was any better, because Tom Brady didn't light up the scoreboard. He wasn't throwing passes around. He just did what he was efficient to do.
Didn't have to. He had the running game going. He didn't have to.
Yeah. Let's ask the same question, though, about what happens in the NFC title game when you have the Bucs against Green Bay. Now, I don't know where, I guess you can say Aaron Rodgers has gotten the discount double check super. He got the super plan because for some reason he's 10 times better than he was when he was better than he was. I've never seen anything like this. Aaron Rodgers is throwing the ball like he has channeled his inner Peyton Manning along with Brett Favre and Warren Moon. Yep.
Well, you got to remember. Well, you got to remember though. Tampa Bay did put the booty whooping on him earlier in the season. So you're looking at a situation. This Tampa Bay defense can get to Aaron Rodgers. Now, I think you're going to see two different ball games. I don't think you're going to see a Tom Brady play this close to the vest game because I believe they really didn't have to outscore the New Orleans Saints. They didn't have to go put 40 on the board to win. It's going to be opposite now. They're going to have to open this up and throw the ball down the field because they're going up against the MVP, Aaron Rodgers, and he is going to score. You got Devontae Adams up there, one of the best wideouts in the league right now. These two guys are playing at an all-pro status. This is going to be a shootout for sure. Ndamukong Suh, Devin White, those guys are going to have to come through, and they're going to have to hit Aaron Rodgers, or this is going to be a gunfight at the OK Corral, and I think somebody's going to come to the gunfight with a knife.
You know, the amazing part is the Bucs are a 4-point favorite.
Yeah,
going into the game. The Bucs versus Green Bay this year. Green Bay had been on a charge. They had really been moving forward. Nothing was stopping them. They had just smacked around the Saints. And then a Bucs team came in and held Aaron Rodgers for 16 of 35, 160 yards passing, no TDs, and 2 interceptions. And gave Aaron Rodgers his lowest QBR of the season at 35.4, which might be his lowest QBR ever. It possibly could be. We'll have to check the stats on that. Now, Tom Brady didn't light up the world either. He was 17 for 27 for 168 yards with 2 TDs and no interceptions, but the defense came in and did their job. And I'm a firm believer, if you can do it once, you can do it twice. Now, maybe not so much thrice. I don't know about 3 times, but I believe if the Bucs could go in and put the slap down on Aaron Rodgers the first time, I think they've got more than a puncher's chance the second time around to go in and be able to get what some might consider an upset, but the 4-point favorite says they'll probably win.
Well, the Bucs have just gotten better. And I think what you're seeing right now is that they didn't have to really take a lot of chances today to win this football game. You saw them go for that 4th and 1 earlier in the first quarter, which meant to me that they weren't really super concerned about the offensive prowess of the Saints. I think they thought they could keep them contained as long as they didn't have Alvin Kamara run all over them. They didn't believe Drew Brees could beat them in the air. Now you're looking at a situation where you have Aaron Rodgers who can beat him in the air. The question is, what is he going to do under duress? Because I think you're going to see this Tampa Bay defense really bow their ears back and get after Aaron Rodgers. And so hopefully they can keep him in the pocket and make him keep him from rolling out. Because if he starts rolling out and gets on the outside, that's where he's just super dangerous. I think they're going to have to control the ball. You're going to have to see these long drives like Tampa had today, 8, 9, 10-play drives. You have to keep Aaron Rodgers off the sidelines, on the sidelines. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be a really good, super competitive NFC matchup. I think there's going to be really gets 2 quality quarterbacks, both Hall of Famers, only one GOAT. And you're going to look and see that this is going to be, and I believe whoever wins in the NFC is going to probably end up being Super Bowl champions.
Interesting. Interesting that you said that. Now, the Packers aren't going to get a chance to slap around the Bucks like they did the Rams. You know,
Yeah.
that 32-18 shellacking they put on the Rams isn't going to work. But if you go over to the AFC, now you've got some powerhouses coming out. You've got the young guns. So we went from the Billy Goat Bowl to the Old Men Bowl. Now we're going to the Young Cats, the Thundercat Bowl, because now you've got the Browns in KC, you got the Saints and the Bucks, and now you got everything all together. And now you got KC and the Bills, because the Browns fell 17-22 to KC today. And that was a KC without Patrick Mahomes in the end, but the Browns just couldn't pull that last thing together to get over the hump. I thought Baker Mayfield was going to come in and do some Baker Mayfield magic, but obviously he got locked out of the stadium again by his wife and wasn't able to get back and really put it in the work he needed to. But you know who put in work, Jay? One man. One man. The one man that you might need to know. His name is Chad Henny. That's right. Drink him slow, drink him low. Chad Henny, he was the captain. He directed the last ship for KC the last, 4 minutes. But he was the man that you need to know. That's all you need to know right now. Chad Henny.
You know he was a quarterback for Michigan when they lost to Appalachian State. You do know that, right?
Yeah, okay. But he's from Michigan. All right. The legend, Tom Brady, Michigan, Darren Woodson. Let me tell you something. Michigan, the place where legends are made. And you know who else was made there? Chad Henny. That's right. Chad Henny drove Kansas City on a drive nobody thought. 4th and 1. Everybody lines up. Hey, we're just going to try and draw everybody off sides. Hey, don't worry about it, guys. Nobody move. Nobody move. Nobody move. Remember, they're trying to draw us outside. Nobody move. Nobody move. And then Chad Henny says, forget that, dog. We're passing. Tariq, go over there. Catch this ball. And you seal the victory. And that's what he did. He was Chad Henny. He Hennied you. It's Henny, baby. All dark. No chaser. Ha! Chad Henny.
Yeah,
Take
well,
that,
yeah, if you drink too much of Chad Henny, you're going to wake up with your head next to the commode and you're going to be smelling like an old gyro. Look, this is not going to go. Chad Henny did what he needed to do. I don't think if you start Chad hitting, if Patrick Mahomes cannot get out of concussion protocol, I don't think you put the Kansas City Chiefs as they're going to win this ball game. So he's a guy who's a perennial all NFL backup. He's been there for 14 years. He's got a Super Bowl ring. He came in. He's a capable backup. He showed that today. He was able to play. He did well. And he ran the offense because he knew it. But this is not a guy I don't think you want to he's been a backup for nearly 14 years for a reason. Because
nearly 14 years?
Yeah.
Nearly 14 years. Do you know what that means? That means he's been pretty good at staying in the league, my friend. Staying in the league.
Yeah.
Unlike somebody who's going to be leaving their team after a few years, he's still with a team, and he has a Super Bowl. So all of you Broncos fans who are supposed to be in the running, and everybody loves Mitch, and everybody wants to be with Twitchy Mitchy. Let me tell you something, Vic. You sign and get Mitchell Trubisky up in Denver, and you will be the Bears defensive coordinator in 2022. It's going to happen. Or you're going to retire.
I think he's going to end up in Pittsburgh. I really do. I think he's going to end up in Pittsburgh.
Can you imagine Tomlin and Mitchell Trubisky?
I think that's where he's going to end up.
As a running back? Was he going to be a tight end?
I think
he's not going to be the backup.
I think he's going to end up. I think Mitchell Trubisky's going to get signed to where he's going to start at quarterback for him, because he shows spots that he can be a good quarterback if you put him in the right situation. You can't.
So you're telling me that Pittsburgh's going to redesign their whole offense to fit Mitchell Trubisky?
They're going to have to, because what else do they have up there right now? I mean, they've rode Ben Roethlisberger as far as you could possibly ride any quarterback. He's a guy after that motorcycle crash he had some years ago. He probably should have stopped playing football. So
Well,
now,
he
yeah,
did. You can't stop him. How you gonna stop Ben Roethlisberger and a motorcycle couldn't even stop him?
well, I'm
He
just
got run
saying.
over, Jay. He fell on top of his head. He went up and got to practice. Okay.
Right, but this is also a guy too. We've seen that when it's time for Ben to play big, when he needs to play big, he falls short. And they're lucky that the ownership up there is so loyal to their quarterbacks and loyal to their coaches that they allow guys to play through problems and bad years and things like that. Or Ben would have been gone a while ago. So yeah, I think Mike Tomlin would have been gone a while ago. He had a bad stretch going on there for a while, but they keep their coaches there for a long time. So I don't know what, but then on the other side, I might be just talking hope, and we might look up and Twitchy Mitchie is still running out there and playing starting quarterback for the Bears next year. That's a real possibility right now because there's no changes going on except for the coaches, position coaches for the Bears, but any of the major people in the Bears, the brain trust, and this entire brain trust has tied themselves into Mitchell Trubisky, and I think Mitchell Trubisky is still going to be the quarterback for the Bears if they don't get it some cojones and move him, which I don't think they're going to do.
I don't think that Mitch is going to come back. That's the whole thing. It's not so much that they wouldn't run it back because they've shown that pretty much you can do whatever you need to do. As long as you give that fake applause and you give it like you're doing something, like there's no accountability. So it doesn't matter what you do as long as you show up and come to work with the Bears. We've already come to that conclusion. All you got to do is show up at Hallis Hall and act like you are really playing. Even if you're not playing, they'll buy it. They don't care. The bottom line is they've got tickets sold. They've got jerseys sold. Now they just want people in the seats so they can get that concession money. But if I'm Mitchell Trubisky, I'm not coming back to this foolishness. And I don't think his people are going to let him come back to this foolishness because this is shenanigans and foolishness going on here. But you get a place like Denver where he can go, he can start, there are a lot of places. I thought about it today. Do you know how many teams Allen Robinson could go to right now? Just right now off the cuff. Just playoff teams he could go to. I'm telling you, there are 3 places. There are how many teams play today? 4 teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 out of the 4 teams he could go to.
With that, with top 5 receiver money.
If you're going to a winning situation,
he wants to get paid like one of the top 5 receivers in the league.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know what? It's a recession, bro. And you're not one of the top 5 receivers in the league.
Well, he says he is.
Okay, well, that's what's going to keep you at the Bears because all they're going to do is they're going to franchise you. They're going to franchise tag you, wait you out, and then either sign an extension or they'll do a sign-in trade. It's up to you, baby boy. I don't think you're leaving Hallis Hall.
No,
I think you are, but I don't think you are.
I don't think he's going to leave that money on the table to go anywhere else. So I think right now he's going to be in a situation he wants to maximize his dollar. And so and then he's going to probably end up getting franchise tag. Yeah. That's what's going to probably end up happening.
And I could see somewhere in we've talked about this before. I could see him somewhere in the realm of 15 to 18.
No, that's somewhere somewhere around there.
I could see that. I could see that you would need that to get. So if the Bears do, let's say in the first round, they draft the kid out of Florida.
What kid out of Florida?
Trash.
I think they got the 20th pick. He ain't gonna be there.
He might. One of them, Mac Jones or Trash, is gonna be there. So you're gonna have your choice of either or. Because I don't think Leatherwood's still gonna be there. Now that's the only person in this top. If I had in the back end out of the top 10, that's the person I would draft. A bona fide left tackle or you can move him over to left guard, or you can move him to right tackle, or you can move him to right guard. He's played all over the line. He's one of the best linemen in the country.
Yeah.
But with that said, you're going to have your shot at either Trask or Mac Jones. One of the two. And I am pretty sure, just like that Rex Grossman thing, they're going to take a flyer on somebody in that first round because you got to do something to save face. So there you go. Ryan Pace, again, will pick another quarterback that I don't know if they're going to match with Nagy's ideas. You would think he would have to, but then there's no job security for either of them. Let's say all this falls apart next season. They're all getting fired. Everybody's getting fired because they're going to blame it on, the cohesion didn't work, and so we're going to have to let them go. And then we're going to bring in a whole new staff of people just a whole new staff. It's a foolery show. It is shenanigans at its finest, but you got Trask or Mac Jones. That's what I'm saying, Jay Sizzle. Which one of those quarterbacks are you taking?
I don't think I'm taking either one of them, to tell you the truth.
You got to take somebody. You don't have a chance not to take anybody. You got to take somebody. You got to act like you're going to give this town a winner. A winner. You got to act like it. Let me tell you something. What did Iron Mike say? Okay, when it comes to Mitchell Trubisky, I can't play with him.
Cannot play with him. Cannot win with him. Cannot coach with him. Can't do it. I want winners.
That's what we want. We want winners, and we want, even if it looks like we're going to get a winner. It may not be a real winner, but he looks like a winner. And Mac Jones is one of the greatest quarterbacks coming out of college, even though he's had the greatest line, receiving core, running back.
Yeah, that's it.
Tight ends.
That's it.
Everything else that you need.
Everybody looks great coming out of Alabama because you got the best talent at wide receiver and running back. That's why I'm not sold on Mac Jones. Trask, I'm like, okay. I'm not super thrilled with him. I'd rather see a guy out here who's been putting up big numbers. You know what I'm saying? Who just been throwing the ball all over the yard. That's what I'm sort of looking for that guy.
At the back end of the first round.
Well, if they're playing, it's just like Mitchell Trubisky, right? Mm-hmm. What big numbers was he throwing around? I mean, was he breaking records? Was he setting conference records? That was my problem with that pick. Like, he didn't show you that he was this prolific passer. You know, Pat Mahomes showed you that he was a prolific passer. He was throwing the ball all over the yard. You know, and so you need a guy that's what they do. They throw the ball all over the place. I don't know if Jones is that guy because he's had the greatest wide receiving core to throw to. That we've seen every year. They throw out the great wide receiving core. Even in the championship game, he threw for big numbers, but there was a lot of yak going on. You know, I don't know how many times you saw him dropping the ball into tight windows right over the top of people's shoulders, hitting them in stride. You want a guy. I mean, that kid from BYU is a good quarterback. I just don't think he's going to be there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm looking at the reality of what's going to be available for the Bears at the 20th pick, and it's going to be one of the two. And history has shown that from Ryan Pace snooping around, they've sent scouts to scout Trask. They've been doing that all season. It's not like they don't know who he is. The thing with Mac Jones is he's a really accurate passer. He can put balls in tight windows. And he doesn't have a big arm, but he can put a ball in a tight window. Now, with Trask, he's a jack of all trades, but a master of none. He has the size. He can move the offense along. He would be a really good backup to a veteran quarterback who, you needed somebody there. But, I mean, maybe that's the whole thing. Maybe you got your main quarterback here. And, maybe. Like, I don't get it. How can you still be the quarterback and you threw your head coach under the bus? Like, literally threw him under the bus. And then you went out and sucked. I mean, it wasn't like you were doing great things. You went out and suck, bruh. But it was your head coach's fault. Yeah, he was calling bad plays, but you weren't helping,
Yeah, but
especially when you tried to get yourself killed. Yeah.
yeah, but the whole thing was that this was always a disaster waiting to happen. Everything had to go right for this team to be good.
Mm-hmm.
And any part of it didn't go right. There wasn't enough there that you could pull out, the rabbit out of the hat to make some stuff happen. So I mean, the Bears are in a real problem, and right now the top level quarterback is going to be gone. By the time they pick, they're going to be the kid out of North Dakota State. You're looking at somebody that there's going to be so many unprovens there that they take. There's nobody there. You say, okay, that's the guy that's going to lead us. And are they going to find a Tom Brady somewhere down the line or somebody? Because they need a franchise quarterback. That's the one thing we haven't had here in Chicago is a franchise quarterback. And unless they just get lucky and one drops out the sky on them, we still not going to have a franchise quarterback. And if you don't have a guy like that, I don't know how you're going to win in the NFL. I mean, we show it. We see all the quarterbacks right now, and each one of these quarterbacks would have led their teams. We didn't have a quarterback who you were just going, he played okay, but the defense kept him in the ball games. All these quarterbacks led their teams and played really well. Mitchell Trubisky showed that he can't do that, and we don't know if the Bears can go and pick somebody in here who's going to be able to do it. I mean, so I don't know. With the Bears, it's just disheartening because I think you wasted a really good defense and you wasted a decent offense. You didn't give them an offensive line. It's going to take a couple of years to put that together, and then after that, all the people that you have already here, they're going to be a little longer to tooth. It's going to be time for them to go, and you're going to be back in rebuilding stage again. So, we're looking at 5 or 6 years down the line, if they do stuff right, that the Bears are going to be good. Look how long it took the Bills to get good. Look how long it took the Browns to come back. I mean, you're talking a decade or more for the Browns to come back. And they just came back to where they could get beat in the playoffs. And
the sad part is they have quarterbacks. I mean, when you look at both of those teams you just mentioned, they have foundational quarterbacks. So unless you're going to put all your hopes on Nick Foles, and I don't think you can cut him because of the money, I think your only hope is to draft a quarterback in the first round and then get a bridge quarterback. And that bridge quarterback might be Chad Henny.
He's a glorified backup. So, I just,
Isn't Nick Foles a glorified backup?
Yeah, but he was a guy who actually played well in the postseason. If you had a decent offensive line in front of Nick Foles, he'd have played decent quarterback for you. But he can't move. He's a statue behind that sieve that they had in front of him when you had defensive linemen playing offensive line for the Chicago Bears. He was a sitting duck back there. He didn't have a shot. Now you put a couple of golden domers up there. And they put a run-based offensive line together, and they looked okay. But you look at these other teams out here, they have all pros playing for them. I think the Saints, their left side, their left tackle, and their left guard are all pros. So you got to get at least one all-pro in your offensive line. You got to get top-flight offensive line play to win in the NFL. You saw, look, Tampa Bay's center is an absolute beast. He's an absolute beast out there, and he's going to fight you at every time he gets a chance, and Tom Brady loves that guy. So you've got to have guys out here, warriors out here, who are just not going to take this butt whippings that the Bears' offensive line has been getting and just go back to the huddle like, oh, okay, I'm good with it. And that's what we see with the Bears. At least they had a little fight to last into the season, but it wasn't enough. So until they get that offensive line situation figured out, I don't care who you put back there, quarterback. And the problem is now you don't have opportunity really to pick a good quarterback. And if you're a free agent out there, is the Bears a place you really want to come to?
Yes, if you're Chad Henny and you're going to get a boatload of cash.
Cannot play with him. Cannot win with him. Cannot coach with him. Can't do it.
They're not going to give him a boatload of cash. Chad Henny is going to do exactly what he's been doing. He's going to sit behind Patrick Mahomes and hopefully for the next 2 or 3 more years have an opportunity to win the AFC. That's what he's going to hope.
Yeah, well, you never know. Maybe they find a wonderful left tackle and Nick Foles becomes the quarterback that we've all hoped and dreamed. But don't think that's going to happen. So moving right along, all I can say is, we've come to the end of the show and I still feel no better about the Bears situation. And I do feel that Tom Brady's going to go to another Super Bowl.
Tom Brady's going to win the Super Bowl. Tom Brady's about to go win this. They're going to figure out a way. They're going to figure out a way to get past the Packers. They're going to figure out a way, and they're going to figure out and somehow, way, shape, or another, this defense is going to rally up, and then whoever they play, whoever the NFC plays in the AFC. The Chiefs are shelling themselves right though now, and now you have a Patrick Mahomes who's hurt. That ankle's hurt. That big toe is hurt. You saw back there that he didn't look good.
He's just gonna get a shot. Okay, he got slapped around on his head. They were winning the game. Like, take him out. You'll be okay.
He didn't look good moving around in that pocket. And so I just don't know.
Big toe hurts. You won't look good moving anywhere.
And then you got to survive this next ball game, and they're going to come after him. So the question is, I just don't know. I mean, the biggest X factor for them is Tyreek Hill, who literally just could come from one side of the field and just run away from whoever's chasing him to the other side. So I mean, that's where Patrick Mahomes they put butter on their bread. That's when they got Tyreek Hill running free across the formation. But if you have a Patrick Mahomes who can't move like he needs to move, and you can start getting to him and hitting him a bit, also that takes that away from him. So I think you're going to look at and see. I think the champion of the NFL is going to come out of the NFC. Either one of these teams, Rodgers or Tom Brady-led Buccaneers team, I think is going to have an opportunity to put it on either one of these young guys over in the AFC. I just think Patrick Mahomes, because of the way he plays, is starting to catch up to him. And I think he's starting to take some hits now, and even though he's trying to protect himself, but stuff's hurting now. And I think that it affected how he was throwing the football today. It really did. And I think part of that big hit he took was part of that he wasn't able to move. So, again, another one of those hits like that goes in concussion protocol. Do you want leading your team from the second quarter out? No, you don't want that. You definitely don't want that.
Any quarterback that gets hit like he got hit, that's the only way the Bears have ever beat Aaron Rodgers is they've had to maul him and attack him and knock him out. The same way they beat Tom Brady this year. They kept hitting him in the mouth. Any quarterback that gets hit in the mouth enough times by the fourth quarter, they won't be, if you're injured, you've got a bad toe because you got rolled up on, in one game, yes, you can pull him out and you can put Chad Henny in. But I have no confidence that the NFC is going to win the Super Bowl. And in fact, we're going to talk about that when we do a remote. We're going to do our Super Bowl remote. So listen for the next few weeks. Yeah. We're going to tell you leading up to the Super Bowl where we're going to be and what we're going to be doing, because I have no confidence in anyone in the NFC. I don't care if Aaron Rodgers is there. They're going to need Aaron Rodgers. They're going to need Jake from State Farm. They're going to need Chris Paul, and they're going to need Alfonso Ribeiro, being Chris Paul, to be out there to help him, because if the AFC gets there, they're going to put the slap down, and it's going to be a lot of slapping. You like that? Like that? Yeah, it's going to be a lot.
You heard it from me right here. The champion of the NFL is coming from the NFC. So you're going to be Tom Brady. It's going to either be Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers hosting that trophy. Okay. That's what it's going to be this year.
And I'm going to say to you, that's all I have to say.
Wow.
Everyone has to do their job.
Yeah.
Do your job.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
All you gotta do is get Patty Mahomes, get some people to deliver some stuff over to his house.
Patty Mahomes.
Because he got the Rodgers rate, but it's the Pat Mahomes rate. Get some brothers to get him over there, get some people, get him healthy. He'll be good.
Speaking of Patrick Mahomes, this is the time for him to change his hairdo. Ain't you tired of that haircut?
If you're winning, okay, yeah. Well, you asked Lamar Jackson that. Any time for him to let go of penitentiary 2, 3, and 4 hairstyle, that's about. Look, dude, you're not gonna be a backup for the new Straight Outta Compton Part 2 movie. Let that mess go. Let that. Go ahead and get you a grown man haircut.
Yeah, I think it's about time.
Yeah.
When do these young guys gonna start combing their hair? That's what I wonder.
Dude, it's so ridiculous. When we talk about the next show, we're going to talk about Thaddeus Young's hairstyle and why I believe Thaddeus Young's hairstyle is keeping him planted to the ground.
I mean, a lot of times these guys run around, they still got fuzzies in their hair.
Oh, man, let me tell you something. Otto Porter is just getting into shape. He finally has lost like that third grader he was carrying around with him. You can see his arms now. But that hair, man, let me tell you something. That's not cute, sir. That's not fun.
That next show, we're going to talk about James Harden magically throwing out these huge numbers up there with the Nets all of a sudden.
Oh, my goodness. Let's talk about Tubby Harden on the next show. Let's do it. We're going to talk about Tubby Harden. By that time, we'll talk about the Bulls, third game in 4 days, and we'll see how they've lasted. They had a really good one today. Actually, if you didn't watch the Bulls today, I know there was a lot of football going on, but if you didn't see the Bulls today, you missed a clinic in how basketball should be done.
Did they get a W today?
Crazy. They got the W today.
Who did they play?
They put their foot down, and they did what they had to do. They played Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks with Kristaps Porzingis and pretty much nobody else.
Hey, Luka had a huge game today, though, didn't he? I think he went like 35, 15, and 15 or something like that.
He put the slap down. Luka, too, has all that COVID. Luka looks like Luka's uncle, Duka.
Wow.
Like Duka Duke.
Wow.
Luka looks like he's been to the Krispy Kreme marathon. That's the one where you have to run. What's it? It's a 5K, and after like the 2.5 mile, the 2.5 marker, you got to eat a dozen of donuts.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. So that's what happens to Luka. Luka has eaten at least 4 different dozens of Krispy Kremes before he played this year. I'm telling you, I saw it. It's ridiculous. So once everybody in the NBA gets into shape, it's going to be wonderful. And we're going to have a great show where we're going to talk about the Bulls on the next show. So we'll sit down with all of our Bulls fans and chop it up with you. But we wanted to give you something quick. We wanted to give you something concise. And we wanted to give you the best information around. And that is that football is almost at the end.
I know, it's sad.
Yeah, man.
It's
just for this season.
Anytime football's over, it's just like a little piece of you dies with it.
Yeah. And every time I watch the Bears, I feel like a piece of me has just died off.
Just dies every Sunday. Every Sunday.
But you know what gets better?
What's that?
It really gets better when you get to subscribe to the Sizzle. That's right. All you have to do is find us at Iron Skillet Sports. You can find us anywhere at Iron Skillet Sports. And you can find us at #skillet_sports. That way you can find us on all platforms. You can find this great content and this information. All you have to do is like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah.
There you go. It's easy.
Easy.
It's easy. Easy.
And make sure you guys come out to the remotes, come down to Country Club Hills. We'll give you all the information as we get close to it. It's going to be fun. We're going to get out there, and we're doing a Super Bowl overlay, so it's going to be interesting. But we're going to have fun.
We're going to have a lot of good times with our fans, and we're going to have a lot of good times with the people there. But we're going to keep having good times with you, so listen to the next episode of The Sizzle. And until then, you're listening to The Sizzle, the hottest talk in the 219, the talk of the 219, the hottest sports talk anywhere, and we'll see you on the other side.